What is up, traders? How's everyone doing? Hopefully you guys had a wonderful Wednesday out there. Wait, let me check if it is Wednesday. It is Wednesday, right? Wonderful Wednesday out there on the market. I for sure did. My goodness, the market was just beautiful. It was finger licking good. I feel like I say that way too much, but it was actually really good today. So many opportunities. I mean, if you were a bull, you had fun. I'm not sure if you were a bear, if you had fun. There were some moments in the market where if you were a bear, you had fun. But if you were a bull today, you had fun one more time. There were so many opportunities to go long on. A lot of them we actually talked about it last night, and we caught to capitalize on those opportunities today. And that's going to be the game plan for today again. Look at my trades on the day. Look at the stocks for tomorrow that might be interesting. Chart them. See where the interesting areas are. See where the interesting levels are. And then I also have to do a little bit of homework today because and I'm saying we because Dieter, who's also in the chat, Dieter and I were talking to each other quite a bit today because we were testing out the strategy that we saw on stream last night, which was the Bella scalp. So we were testing out that strategy quite a bit. We were going through a bunch of stocks. Well, I shouldn't say we on that part. Dieter was going through a bunch of stocks and he was trading them, I guess, or looking for positions to get into. Not sure if he traded all of them, but there were a bunch of stocks that he found that setup on. I found some stocks that setup worked on too, and I actually traded one. So we'll talk about that more in depth. And I actually want to catalog or playbook it or write up is what I want to say. Sorry. We'll write that stock up, kind of catalog it, have it logged into our memory. So next time that setup shows again, which looks like every single day, about 16 to 20 times, at least that's what the YouTube video yesterday that we saw said. So if that's the case, and if this trade shows up that many times, I would love to continue taking advantage of that trade. So we'll talk about that more in depth once we get to that part. Why don't we get the show started over here with looking at my trades on the day? But before we do that, let's take a quick look at the wonderful chat. The chat is here. It is active. Michael Storm and Dieter making up a whole what's going on? Hurting tonight, feeling like I'm missing out on the ETF crypto crap. Why are you missing out? But yeah, I don't know if you guys heard, but cryptocurrency ETF, baby, Bitcoin ETF, around 11 of them. And a lot of them actually will be starting to trade tomorrow. So looking forward to see what happens on the whole crypto craziness. Obviously crypto stocks on watch list without a doubt. Pretty interested to see how the already existing Bitcoin ETFs that the market has, see how they kind of catch traction. I think it's called BTCCB, BTCCU. We'll see if those come into play again. But yeah, Coinbase, Mara, Riot, we'll take a look at all those stocks. Do you have all the new ticker names that were approved, or can you direct us to where to see them? I do not, but we will do the research on it for sure. We'll do the research and find out what the tickers are that we should probably keep an eye out for tomorrow. A lot of them might be actually on the CBOE market. I'm just guessing over here. A lot of them might be on the CBOE market, but I'm just gonna make a note over here. No, we'll just go over here and just Google it. What are the tickers for BTC ETF? Not sure what the tickers are, but we'll find out. We'll do the research on it and we'll find out. Crazy they didn't hold a meeting release. They just kind of announced it. I guess with everything that happened yesterday, they just kind of released it. We all knew that it was supposed to be today, right? We all knew that today was the deadline. It was either going to get approved or disapproved today. So everyone was just waiting. I don't think like they had to have an official press release meeting and be like, okay, be all official about it. I think it's just whatever. It is what it is. Now the question is what happens with Bitcoin. Ethereum made a big move up after hours with that catalyst. Bitcoin didn't really do too much, but Ethereum kind of making moves over here. But I'm interested to see what kind of other coins, what kind of other markets kind of take traction off of this catalyst. Does gold go down? That's probably an interesting trade over there because people always think that gold will be replaced by Bitcoin. And if that's the fear, gold should technically go down a bit, right? But I also heard something that gold is all of the world gold has been mined. So at this point, if that's true, then that means gold should only appreciate and never depreciate, right? Should never depreciate because all of the gold in the world has been mined, and anyone who's wearing gold, it's that's their last piece of gold that will be circulating in the world. So obviously not sure how much of that catalyst is true, but if that catalyst is true, then gold should never go down, even if Bitcoin is going to replace it or not. We'll see if that ends up being that way. But boy, oh boy, we're gonna have a lot of fun on the markets today. Why don't we start off with, ladies and gentlemen, tomorrow, sorry. Why don't we start off with looking at my positions on the day? So, like I said, I traded pretty good today, but not as good as I wanted to. I started off with the long on CrowdStrike. So CrowdStrike recently took out a significant level to the upside, and today we were continuing off that move to the north side. Got an opening pop, kind of ignored the opening pop and the whole craziness over here. Waited at the low of the range over here. Had a blind order just in case the stock does flush down and give me that fill. It does, and then I'm able to take that fill. But now I'm looking at the chart and I'm going, is this really a long for CrowdStrike? Because it already made that run up, flushed, made the run up again, consolidated, and then flushed again. This could easily just start going all the way to the downside. So I'm a little scared over here. I'm worried. I do have my stop ready to punch out at the low of day. That never comes into play. So now I'm holding the trade a little bit better, and it comes into the pop. It pops, great. But then it's showing me a rejection around VWAP. So I take my first lot out, and then I'm waiting to see what happens on the stock. It punches back towards VWAP. It struggles again around VWAP. I'm now going, okay, lower high. We did get almost a lower low coming into play, but then yeah, higher lows over here, a little bit of a consolidation, but this stock could easily consolidate here and just break down all the way to the downside. I'm just going to take my profits, take my $2 scalp, and run away from this trade, and that's what I ended up doing. Quickly got out, quick profits. But look how much of a big move I missed out. Could have basically had almost a $9-8 move to the upside today. Could have been a banger day for me on CrowdStrike. I just shit the bed. And that'll be the story for the whole day. That'll be the story for the whole day. Even though I had good trades, I had great trades, just didn't manage them properly, didn't trade them properly. So the next one that we get to bitch about is going to be Microsoft. Microsoft taking out that key level near 377, 378. We've been watching this level or Microsoft trade in a box for a long time. If you look at Microsoft on the daily chart, which we will later on in the day, obviously. But if you look at Microsoft on the daily chart, it's been basically ranging from, I think, 366 to 376 or so, or 377, 378 area. And it's been doing that ever since, I think, the earnings report came out. Finally today, especially after the market, which looked a lot choppy, market was ripping up, coming back down, ripping up, coming back down. Microsoft looked very strong, and it would just keep on continuing to go to the north side. So I don't take the breakout. I'm actually waiting for a pullback, and on the pullback, it starts showing me a little bit of traction right around VWAP. So I punch into Microsoft right around VWAP. I'm taking on the ad of through this area where the breakout is, because I realized this is the mistake that I did on CrowdStrike. On CrowdStrike, I got out too early. I should have actually taken the breakout and taken my trade right back in with another new stop. So I take that breakout over here on Microsoft, not wanting to make that same mistake, and I'm able to take some profits right into the day high of day area. But then I'm waiting and I'm watching what the stock is doing. At the same time, when I'm trading this position at 953 or so, the QQQs are actually doing this, right? The QQQs around 953 or so, right around here, are getting ready to push to the downside, looking scary. Ooh, I'm worried, and we could easily flush to the downside over here on QQQ. So I'm worried about that, and I just quickly punch, exit my position, and I fumble the bag over here on a monster long opportunity on Microsoft, especially with the entry we had. I mean, I could have just had the stop at break even. I could have had the stop at the low of that candle and really given the stock the risk it deserved and gotten the reward, got the reward that would have come with that risk. So fumbled the bag over there on two separate trades. But that's not the story. We continue to do that on other stocks too. So we'll talk about the next fumble over here on Unity. Unity, same thing. Unity, actually, if you look at the chart from yesterday, the stock had sold off quite drastically to the south side. Stock went, I think, about 10-15% to the downside, maybe less than that, maybe 7% if I remember accurately. Went down about 7-8%, but then consolidated in this area beautifully all day from what, 11 o'clock going into close. Just made a beautiful box of a range over here, not breaking that bottom. So I figured, let's watch the stock off the open. Off the open, it kind of looks weak. We're still opening up in the same range, the box, the range that we were in. But after opening up, it flushes, bounces right off of yesterday's low, gets back up, never really pushes back down, starts consolidating around today's VWAP, and buying comes in. Lots of buying on any flush. So I'm noticing that coming into play, so I got into my long. But after I got into my long, we get a nasty flush right under my entry's low, so I'm a little worried. But then right after that flush comes another pop, and that pop starts stalling out near VWAP. So I'm thinking, okay, this stock could easily pop into VWAP and then start just higher low, lower high, higher low, lower high. Sorry, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, and just start trickling to the downside. That's what I visualized on the stock. So if that was the case, I wanted to protect myself from some of the losses. I take some shares out for break even. Right after I take out, boom, comes in a big wave of buying, and then the stock just starts ripping up to the north side. That's where I should have taken this lot back as my entry and had that as my new stop on this trade, and then would have had a monster day on Unity. Instead, I fumbled the bag, closed my trade over here because I think the market's going down. At least the market looked like it was going down at that time of the day at 10 o'clock. So I just closed all my longs, CrowdStrike, Unity, Microsoft, and was pretty upset at myself. Later on, I tried to look for another long over here on Unity, but I kind of put my own rule, my own game plan aside. I had a game plan which was wait for the stock to pull back to the 9 SMA, see if it holds the 9 SMA on the 5-minute, and if it does, then we can get in. But even before I do that, I see this little spike coming into the stock around 37. It gets under 37, but then gets back above 37. That little spike makes me get in, and I put a stop right at the low of that candle, so I get stopped out. But later on, the stock does exactly what I expected to do, or what I wanted to see it do, which is go to the 9 bar, test the 9 bar or the 9 SMA on the 5-minute, and then pop off of it. It pops right off and rips to the north side. This was a keystroke. I didn't really mean to enter into this position, so I punch out of that position right away. And then later on, I fight the short quite a bit, giving back all the profits that I had made on this stock, and I actually turn it into, I think, my biggest loser on the day, if I remember accurately. So pretty big fumble on Unity compared to CrowdStrike and Microsoft. Those ones were fumbles, but those were profitable trades and actually helped me stay green on the day. This one would have been another, monster trade had I traded it properly. Had I not fumbled the bag over here on these 3 longs, would have killed it today. Absolutely killed it. But because I fumbled it on Unity, I start FOMOing here, and I think that the stock is topped out into 38, all in while in the back of my head, I feel like the stock could easily go into yesterday's high, which was around 38.60s. Look what the stock does. Goes into 38.60s, 38.80s was the high a day, flushes. That is where you get the short, the right side of the V. Later on, it consolidates right into where we were shorting and then sells off into VWAP. That was the short that I wanted. I could have gotten back here short if I want and had that as a stop, or had this as a stop, getting short over here. Overall, I say, you know what, I'm just going to stay away from Unity. I had the read originally on the day. I had an idea what I wanted to do, and I screwed the bag on that. Then I had an idea of where I wanted to get short, and I screwed the bag on that. So I figured I'm just going to stay away from Unity and walk away from this trade. I think that was a good decision by me. Not really because I missed out on some money, but I feel like mentally, because you got to preserve your mental capital. Mentally, I feel like I made the right decision there. Yes, sir. Bitcoin ETF approved. TH, welcome. How you doing, brother? Welcome. All right. Another loser on the day here, Chewy. Chewy had some sort of a negative catalyst today. Even then, with the negative catalyst, popped up off the open. but then started to look like it was going to sell off over here. I was originally looking to take the breakout of the 20, basically 1989 breakout short for a bigger move down, but I get a little cute because the stock looks like it's rejecting this nice little breakdown over here. I get a little cute. I punch in before that breakdown to see if I can get a big little move and a better average price. Ends up being the wrong call, and the stock rips up to the north side. I just stop myself out right around this area, and I say, you know what, this is just not the right trade. This stock is not a short. It could very easily do what it's doing right now, which is just stay pegged to $20 and not go anywhere away from that $20 area. And looks like that's exactly what happened. It just stayed around that $20 price. Now, talking about the setup that we were talking from yesterday, this was the trade that I caught on the setup that we found from yesterday on the YouTube video, which was the Bella scalp, the Bella Fiore scalp. That's named after him, and Mobileye popped up onto my trade ideas scanner that it was getting sold off quite drastically, had a lot of down move coming in off the open. So I figured, okay, you know, if it's getting sold off that badly, I would love to see what type of trade we can get over here on Mobileye, some sort of scalp maybe, especially on the Bella scalp. But I wasn't thinking about this back then. This only came into picture when Dieter messaged me and he said, what the hell is this, Dieter? The hell is this, Dieter? Well, I don't know what this picture was, but Dieter messaged me. Maybe this was like a couple of days ago. I'm not sure what this was about. Day was this October 23rd. This is an old ass screenshot. Why am I opening this now? Anyways, Dieter messaged me and he said he's testing out the new strategy that we learned yesterday on the stream, and he's actually liking it quite a bit. This one happened to be on stock called SoFi. So SoFi off the open had a pop, then sold off, consecutive down bars. So clearly a solid trend, monster selling over there on SoFi. And then after drawing that trend line on SoFi, basic trend line scalp on SoFi, after drawing a set trend line on the 5-minute, he was able to cast the long. I think he said somewhere around over here with the stop. And look what a beautiful move it gave him. Beautiful 2R trade, 3R trade, maybe even, depending on where his entry was and where his stop was. So I go, okay, I'll like that, Dieter. I see what you're doing. And then immediately right after, he sends me another screenshot of UPST, right? He sends me another screenshot of UPST. Pretty much the same. Stock kind of consolidates off the open. Stock kind of just consolidates off the open, doesn't do much. The selling kicks in and the stock really sells off after that. He draws his trend line, and then after drawing his trend line, he's able to catch an area to think about where to go long, have a solid risk defined area, you know, solid risk definition, and then entry point, which is now giving him a beautiful scalp. He could have probably been done with the scalp somewhere around here, but you could have gotten much bigger of a trade over there. So now he has two trades that he pointed out, but he wasn't done there. He just kept going. AI, another example. I actually don't want to close these trades. I want to have them open because I want to catalog all of them. Then he found another one. AI, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 straight down bars, and then breaking out of that trend line, basic trend line breakout, getting into another long, defined risk point. Let's see where AI went. What the hell is this? What the hell is that? Let's see where AI went. And look at that. So break of that trend line and AI ripping up to the north side. So monster trade over there. And the video in itself yesterday said, or the person in that video, I forget what his name is, the instructor in that video, but he said, you know, these occur 16 to 20 times a week or whatever, and we found what, 4 over here already, or at least Dieter found 4. SoFi, UPST, AI, and this is just another screenshot of UPST, and this is Unity. And I was talking about Unity later on, about this trend line. We'll get in deeper about Unity later on, because this one I find was also good to playbook as to why this one didn't work, whereas the other ones worked, right? So I feel like I have an idea as to what the little nuance is, but I could be wrong on that. But I feel like I know what the little nuance is as to why this one didn't work, whereas the other ones did. So we'll talk about that in a second. But Mobileye, that's the trade that I took off that very same idea. So Mobileye, solid rejection to the downside after it rejects, and also it bottoms out right around $30, which is also a pretty significant key level. I think that's also I said also like 10 times. So that happens to be right around the IPO day high. So looking at the, I remember $30 area being a key level. So looking at the stock going down, going into $30, kind of bottoming it out at $30, gave me that long, the break of that trend line, break of that scalp, long, out first some lots at 1R, and then out more at 2R and more, and then the last few shares I just basically put it at break even instead of putting at the day's low. That one gets stopped out later on after the stock kind of breaks the day's low slightly, but then pops right back up. I get into another long for a quick little scalp. You could have gotten again multiple times later on for continuing to look for that move to VWAP or a little bit higher than VWAP, because that 30 area ended up holding for the stock all day. So Mobileye, that was a trade that I took. Not as clean as the other stocks that, you know, our friend Dieter took screenshots of. So these ones, I would love to see what the nuances are for these ones working and the nuances for the other one not working. So these look like, look at that, big volume clear out, big volume clear out, big volume clear out. This one didn't really have a big volume clear out. This one was big volume on the way down and then kind of consolidated. That's number one catalyst. The other thing that I'm watching is these stocks need to kind of do this break of this trend line by 10:30. If they don't do it by 10:30, like for Unity, for example, you could have drawn this trend line for Unity today, but you see on the break of that trend line, ain't shit happening, right? Ain't shit happening. Also, low volume period. So the stock just consolidated in that range at low volume, held that 9 bar too, which is the 9 SMA on the 5-minute, showing you that the trend is still getting ready to continue. The 20 SMA is still quite a bit of a way away from the 9 SMA. Usually you see reversals coming into play when the 9 SMA and the 20 SMA are converging. I think that's the right word. When the 9 SMA and the 20 SMA are converging and reversing directions on to the upside or to the downside, and that's when you'll see the stocks now going, the 20 SMA being on the higher end, 9 SMA being on the lower end, right around over here. When it converges, the 9 SMA starts going down and the 20 SMA starts going on the higher end, and the same thing vice versa when the stock is going up. 9 SMA is on the upper end, 20 SMA is right below it but a little bit of a way away from it. Once they start getting closer and closer and closer, that's when the meat of the move is kind of done, right? Not saying that this indicator is like a 100% true signal of that, because there's often that you see where the stock converges, sells off, but then goes for another run up again, and it goes and the SMA gets repainted. So you got to understand what the SMA is telling you and how the SMA is even formed. It's a lagging indicator. It's not really telling you the future. It's telling you what has been happening and how that information can help you possibly structure a trade. So keeping that in mind on Unity, that could have helped me stay away from the building into the short on the break of that trend line, right? We're still holding the 9 SMA. I didn't need to be that heavy. I also told myself the stock is very close to yesterday's high, which is right here. No reason for me to punch the short right now. I could just wait for the stock to do what it did here, exactly what I visioned it to do, or not visioned, but I wanted it to do. It did, but I just didn't trade it properly because I was impatient. I was a little indisciplined, and I was FOMOing that the fact that I fumbled my bag on the long side today. So a bunch of reasons over there caused me to trade Unity pretty poorly. Those are my trades today, ladies and gentlemen, and we will playbook these trades. The Bella scalp. Probably at the end of the stream if you guys are hanging out, unless we have some sort of a cool YouTube video to watch. Let's see if we do have a YouTube video to watch today from SMB Capital. Man, I'm addicted to these cop videos. I don't know if you guys are. That's all you'll see on my YouTube now. Like that's all you will see. Probably like, oh yeah, this is pretty crazy. That Jewish tunnel in New York. I don't know if you guys heard that. That's a pretty crazy story. I'm pretty interested to see what happens with that one. But yeah, these Code Blue Cam videos, these jail interactions. I'm like, that's all you'll see. My algorithm is completely fucked at this point. Absolutely fucked. There is no new video that we have for us, so we'll just kind of maybe catalog our trades. All right, before we do that though, let's go talk about all the fun stuff for tomorrow, which is the watch list. The watch list, obviously, first few stocks up on there will be your Coinbase, Riot, Mara based stocks, and then we have a bunch of other stocks that moved around today, either with news or with earnings, and then some other positions that we always take a look at, such as the large cap basket. So stay tuned for these stocks if you are interested to see what type of ideas can come out from these stocks for tomorrow. First one is Coinbase. But before we go to Coinbase, let's head over to first Bitcoin. Bitcoin, not much of a reaction, I guess, because of how the SEC's Twitter being hacked and everything that happened over there took place. People were worried that if Bitcoin doesn't really get approved, or the Bitcoin ETF, I should say, doesn't get approved, there could be a big sell-off event coming into the stock or the spot market. Thankfully, we don't have to worry about it. As Kanye said, people always wondered what I would act and how I would behave if I didn't win the Grammy. Well, now you don't have to worry about it, because I won the Grammy, and no one will know. No one will know how I would have reacted, how I would have acted. But everyone knew exactly how they would have acted, or predicted, thought that they knew how it would have acted. But now they'll never know, because Bitcoin ETF is accepted. Bitcoin ETF being accepted actually helped Ethereum instead, which took it to the north side. Ethereum taking off after breaking through a solid resistance consolidation area, 2,400 breaking, going as high as 2,600 over here for ETH. ETH finally making some moves, catching up with Bitcoin hopefully, and boy, I can't wait for my Ethereum to make some money on that. I'm pretty down on Ethereum at the moment, so I can't wait for Ethereum to push back up and start making some money on that one too. Bitcoin is in the profit for me finally after a year of being on Bitcoin. Oh, you guys hear that cough, chat? I think I'm dying, chat. I think I'm actually dying. All right, good riddance, right? Good riddance, good riddance. Get rid of this guy. Okay, let's start with Coinbase. Yesterday's low, yesterday's high. I want to put that there, and I want to put you there. So Coinbase, yesterday's low, yesterday's high. We did go a little bit under. I guess people were worried as to what would happen. Would the market break out? Would the market not break? Would the ETF get accepted? Would it not get accepted? Eventually, nice little bottom coming into play. I think this is what's called the bottoming tail. On the 5-minute, the Trade Ideas scanner actually has this as a scan. Look at that, man. I'm gonna start using this a lot more. You guys know that, right? I'm gonna use this strategy a lot more, especially now that I'm seeing it so much often, and I'm always wondering how to catch these longs, how to catch these moves, these fake out open drives to the real meat of the moves for the rest of the day. Now we might just have the answer for that. So Coinbase, did start off going to the downside a little bit. People were worried as to where exactly the ETF news would go towards. But overall, yeah, nice move in the after hours over here. Let's go, Coinbase. Big move in the after hours for Coinbase to the north side. And I know a lot of people are just excited as to see what the stock will do tomorrow. Finally getting back into that 160 area where we struggled quite a bit for quite a few days now. That 160 area was struggle. But now if we can get into 160, show support above 160, 170, 180, 200 incoming on Coinbase. Not in one day, but in the swing term scale. We're expecting 200 to come into play. That'll be a lot of fun. 200 is not even on the year to date. So let's see 180, 187, 190 come into play first. Then we'll think about 200 on Coinbase. But so far, as for the trade ideas, it's going to be mainly to see how that 160 area comes into play. Even yesterday's high, if we do pull back, hold up somewhere near yesterday's high, it'll be interesting to see what happens on Coinbase tomorrow. So looking for areas of interest over here in my notes. I'm going to put supports will be 155 over here, it says. I guess you could use that. Where does 155 even come from? I want to quickly zoom back out. Yeah, that's what I thought. So that's an old ass line. Not really sure what I want to use as a true support area. At the moment, honestly, I'll just probably keep watching the stock closely all the way back down to yesterday's high, which will be today's high all the way back down to 153.40. If it does pull back down, start showing me some sort of buying in front of 153.40 or even in front of 150. If it pulls back all the way into yesterday's range here a little bit, I keep saying yesterday, into today's range here a little bit, then I could look for that consolidation in this range, some sort of a long pattern to get into, and then look for that tape confirmation, the buying confirmation to follow through. See if Bitcoin's also making a move up north to kind of get into it and have some fun. But that 160 area still is going to be a pretty solid area to keep an eye out for, to see if we can break out of that or keep getting rejected from that. And as for the inflection level, that 160 area is going to be important for me. ETF got accepted. Get ready for fun. That's what I'm putting in the notes. That's what I'm putting in my notes. For the bias for Coinbase, bullish for the most part, but play the patterns the stocks chart offers. So by that, I mean, my bias is pretty bullish based on the news, but you guys have always heard about buying the rumors, selling the news. The news is now finally out. The cat is out of the bag, and we've been buying up into this rumor for quite a bit, or into this expectation for quite a bit, into Bitcoin, into Coinbase, into all of these companies. But finally, the rumor is out. The rumor is now converted to news, and the news is usually a sell event. So maybe some sort of a sell event coming in. I also saw an article about Coinbase specifically, that Coinbase has made an immense amount of move ever since this expectation of an ETF coming out, because Coinbase will be the number one partner for banks such as JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs, and everybody. They're going to be using Coinbase most likely, or partner up with Coinbase to make these ETFs, to be investing, to invest in cryptocurrencies and so on. And they'll probably have I'm guessing, a Coinbase wallet. I don't know. I'm guessing, right? They'll probably have a Coinbase wallet. JP Morgan might be having a Coinbase wallet internally through Coinbase somehow. I'm not sure. I'm just throwing out wild theories over here. But they're saying that a lot of people have been expecting this, and Coinbase has been going up quite a bit. There's a good chance that Coinbase now actually sells off, kind of comes back to normality. I'm not denying that statement, but at the same time, I don't know the future. They don't know the future either. So just, bias is great to have. It helps you create a theory, it helps you create a thesis, but be ready to throw that bias in the garbage and trade the other side of the stock is kind of showing you a different idea overall. So bullish for the most part for cryptocurrency stocks such as Coinbase, such as Riot, such as Mara, but be ready to flip the bias, especially if these stocks don't want to follow that trend for us. Now, Riot, quickly go to the yearly chart, daily chart, move yesterday's high, move yesterday's low, move that bad boy over, move that bad boy over. Look at this beautiful box we're kind of having right around $16. $16.30 happens to be the high of today, but $16 is kind of the area of importance for me. I'm sure if I go to the 5-minute chart, we are well above 16. No, we're right around that 16.30 still. That's pretty interesting. So 16.30 area is coming into play, kind of. I would love for the stock to show buying anywhere from 16 to 16.30. If it goes back under 16, that is not bullish at all, because you want to see buyers stepping up. You want to see people fighting for price. You want people to get FOMO. You want people to get worried that they're going to miss out on making immense amount of money because the ETF is finally accepted. They were waiting for the news. The news is out, and you want to see them get eager, fight for that price. And if they're not wanting to buy $16, that's not bullish enough for me, right? So be careful for that. The stock could easily go back into yesterday's close or today's close, sorry, and maybe bounce off of that. But for me, I really need to see that 16 area hold. So I'm just going to keep my inflection point at 16 on Riot. Now, going to Mara, the next stock on board over here, the one with the little bit, wait, what, this is not Mara. Yeah, it is Mara. Sorry, the one with the more volume in it, 140 million today. Oh man, Jesus Christ, that's a lot of volume on this stock. So clearly, the one that you might want to keep an eye out for. This is the one that will give you a lot of opportunities to be wrong and not get hurt. Right, the slippage will be small. The spread will be tight. The amount of liquidity being offered will be crazy. If you're trying to take crazy amount of shares, this stock will allow you to even build that amount of crazy size on the trade if you're looking for it. But at the end of the day, if Bitcoin wants to sell off tomorrow, Mara is not getting saved by anybody, right? Mara is not getting saved by anybody. We are at the moment pretty bullish, but we'll wait and see how that one plans out for tomorrow. Let's quickly go to the 5-minute chart here. I don't really remember what the level if I was trading around. I haven't really traded Mara that much, but this area right around 27 kind of looks pretty important. But today's high 27.50, probably watching to see how that 27.50, 27.60 area comes into play to the north side tomorrow. Don't really have a real support zone that I would possibly be interested in. As you can see, today's VWAP and yesterday's VWAP right around this same area, around $26. There's a chance that we could dip into 26 and then rip to the north side. So I'll just put an eye on 26. I'll keep a watch on the 26 area to see if it does come into play. If we're well above 26 and we're actually well above 27.50 and ripping past 27.50, then I would like to start looking for a long on some sort of a dips back into 27.50 area, and then look for a move into 28, 29, 30, and all other fun stuff. This is the game plan for us on the cryptocurrency based stuff. Coinbase, Mara. Now, the next few stocks that we have are kind of just basic movers that moved around today. This first one is Etsy. Etsy with a pretty decent move. Wasn't really planning to put Etsy on the watch list at all, but it looks like the stock broke a nice little support area over here around $75 and then making a descent to the downside. If that's the case, that opens up quite a bit of a room over here for us to ride Etsy to the downside. And the stock has decent volume on the daily chart too, about 4 million shares traded today, but 3.4 million shares traded on the average side, average scale. So for some sort of a second day continuation trade on Etsy, I would love for it to pull back into the support area and not show us any traction above that price. So for that to happen, I think that was around $75. Let me just quickly mark up today's high and today's low. That way I don't have to do it tomorrow morning last second. Go back to the 5-minute chart here. So right there around $75. I'm going to move one of my markers. I'm going to actually delete these markers. And we're going to delete that marker completely. Put a line there, and this one should be on the default color. Put a line there, and this one should be on the default color. Okay, that was already default. Good. All right, good. We'll put that one there, and then I want to put one right here, right there. So what is that? $75.22. So basically $75. $75.22, 75. You see how the stock opened up today? Kind of tried to hold that $75.22 area. Eventually broke down. Try to consolidate into range low, broke down below the range's low, gave you a much better short to the downside. Why am I hiccuping so much? Oh my goodness. So the question is, what does the stock do on any sort of a bounce back into 75 to 75.22? My guess is rejections. And if it rejects that area, would love to get short on this position. Inflection note 75. Stock sold off yesterday on, I think, downgrade. Was it a downgrade on Etsy? Yeah, downgrade on downgrade. Maybe day two, maybe day two. Sure. Okay. Bearish under 75. So as long as the stock does not hold 75 for me, we are excited for a bigger downside move on Etsy. Priority, however, on this stock, not high priority list. It's going to be on a lower priority list for us because cryptocurrency stocks will be the hot chick on the game tomorrow, at the bar tomorrow, and I'm pretty sure everyone wants to talk to the hot chick. Let's go to the next stock over here, SATS. Not too long ago, this position actually got bought out, or not bought out, merged with Dish Satellite. So merging with Dish Satellite brought in some moves for it, brought in a big volume bump for the stock compared to what it used to do. You see how two back-to-back days, big volume candle yesterday and a big move in itself yesterday, another big move today. It looked like it was gonna sell off quite a bit, but nope, big move. What? That's not a big move. Not a big move at all. I guess whatever, but yeah, big move on the stock today to the north side, based on, I guess, not based on, not I guess, but from what I read, it was based on some sort of a corporate restructuring, especially after a week into merging with Dish. So 31% rally today on SATS on satellite. I think that's what they're trying to. Their company name is. Oh no, the company name is EchoStar, but their ticker is SATS because of satellite dish. Get it? Satellite dish, satellite sats. Anyways, moving on. EchoStar making a pretty good move over here. The question is, what does the stock do? Oh wait, we were looking at something else different. Yeah, look at that. That was the big candle, and then that's the big candle that I was referring to. Big volume. What was the stock I was looking at earlier? Was it Etsy? No. What the hell was I looking at? Anyways, let's go to Sats. Big monster move today compared to a not so much of a big move not too long ago. Big volume candle also too, almost as big as the candle that topped it off around this area. So pretty interesting to see what the stock will do around the $17 price. Although we did break out of 17 today, will be interesting to see what the stock can do going back into that price for support, or going back through that price to see if there is any resistances. Currently, just looking at this candle, looks like we're already under that $16-17 area. Look at that. Yeah, we are under that area, but the question is, what happens tomorrow if we hold this price? I would love to look for buyers to come in, and we could start looking for some longs on this bad boy. So not gonna ignore this one. SATS, hopefully volume stays and doesn't dissipate completely. Volume doesn't just run away from the stock. I want the volume to stay and show us some good trading opportunities, and the level is 17, inflection level 17. Stock made a monster move yesterday, possible day 2 if stock can hold 17 on bids, bullish above 17. Satellites color orange. All right, next stock, WDFC. Now, this one we kind of planned for yesterday. We talked about it, but I just could not bring myself to make a trade on this one at all. I think the main reason was I didn't get the pullback that I wanted. If you guys remember, I was talking about a pullback into 246. Never really saw that pullback on the stock. Also, pretty light on volume. Only 600,000 shares traded today. So there's going to be no way that I'm going to actually be trading this position tomorrow, but I'll talk about it for you guys real quick. The stock did make a pretty good move on the earnings report, decent earnings report. So the question is, what does the stock do now? And my guess would be it's just gonna have an inside day. I can't see the stock breaking out of today's high, nor can I see the stock going right back into today's low and then getting below today's low. So I'm going to guess somewhat of a move into today's high and then reject today's high and then come back down somewhere around these areas, settle around 270, 265 or so. Watch out for that trade. However, if we are above 278, 279, there could be another day 2 type of opportunity on WDFC. You know what? I'm just gonna undelete that off my watch list. Maybe it's worth having an eye on it. It's not that bad of a trade idea, especially if it does pop up into today's high and then rejects today's high. That could give you a nice little short off of it. So I'll just keep an eye out for that 279 area, see if any fail of 279 comes into play for us to short. Only shorting fail of 279, and that's the only trade I'm taking. Bearish on the failure to get above and hold 279 cleanly for a small short back into the halfway of yesterday's candle. There you go. Pretty precise notes, right? That way we don't get confused when we're watching the stock trade move around tomorrow. So WDFC importance, not even any importance for the stock tomorrow. It's going to be on the white color scheme, and probably one of the only few stocks that's going to be on the white colors. Let's go to the next stock over here, Chewy. Chewy did have some sort of a weak catalyst to it. Can't remember what the catalyst was. Maybe some of you know and can help me. Where is it? It just says down 5%. That's great. Awesome. Thank you. I didn't know that at all. Yeah, no, I don't really know what the catalyst was, but Chewy obviously sold off today and gave you some trading opportunities. The opportunities that showed up, I just wasn't interested in it at all. Oh, okay. I'm just a little confused. Okay. Uh, where's this one? That one's right there. This one goes there. Okay. I need to put in the high. I need the max win. I need the max win. Anyone want to buy me that hat? I need the max win one. I want this hat. Somebody buy me this hat, please. They don't make these in Canada. Please, somebody buy me this hat. Or give me your address so I can ship it to your house. And then you can ship it to my house. Damn it. All right, but Chewy, I don't really think there's a trade on this tomorrow. Maybe there is if the stock can clearly get under 20. You know, it really struggled to get under 20 all day, got under 20 at the end of the day. So I'm not really sure that there is a solid trade here tomorrow until we get maybe even under 1950, in my opinion, right? 1950 probably has to come into play for this stock for us to get excited to get short. Then the stock could kind of go into 18s or even lower than that to see what happens. So Chewy, we'll just put 1950 as the inflection. Stock, I don't really have anything on the note side. Bearish if stock can get under 1950 and hold under cleanly. Okay, so Chewy, we'll put you on the blue color just because I don't think you will be that important for me because there's way other trades with much more importance on the board. CRM going into a pretty solid level over here. CRM also had some sort of a news catalyst. If I remember correctly, they might be getting ready to cut working force. At least they are. There's an internal email going around to say pause hiring in its technology product division and including in its workspace chat subsidiary Slack. So apparently an email and in the chat group called Slack, they are, oh, maybe Slack is there. Oh, who owns Slack? The CRM owns Slack? No way. When did they make it or did they buy it? Oh, I remember Slack going public. I remember trading Slack. I think I remember trading Slack. Yeah, it did buy them for $27 billion. Not that big of an acquisition. Most significant acquisition at that time. Get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here. I guess so. But yeah, I remember using Slack at my old workplace. Anyway, so they're thinking about pausing hiring in their tech firms or their tech departments and even Slack departments. So possible job cuts in the future coming up for CRM. You've seen how that catalyst hurt Unity recently and a bunch of other companies recently. Usually that catalyst was recently that catalyst was a good catalyst because that means you're saving some money. But right now that catalyst ends up being a little bit of a negative, although today even that newsletter went around. CRM used that catalyst as a positive news and actually launched up to the north side with a little bit of a move, not too much of a move, but taking it right back into this little area of importance for us. So looking to see what the CRM can do somewhere around this 265 266 areas to the north side. Real quick, let me just do that. And what is that marker over there? 268.15 is that price. So somewhere into 268 or so. Let's see what CRM can do for us going into that price, if it does go into that price tomorrow. If it doesn't, then probably not a trade for me at all. Bearish under 268, bullish above 268. That simple for me. Really that simple when it comes to these trades. If the stock is getting above, holding, or if it's showing us some sort of a clean pattern to get long into, some of our derivatives are coming into play over here, all that fun stuff. Okay. Hi, Brad. Just stop by to see what happens today and, of course, give you the like. Thank you, sir. You're the best. I appreciate the love and support, Mr. John. I can order them if needed, says Michael. Yo, I'm just joking, bro. I would never ask you guys to do anything like that for me, but I appreciate the thought. It's the thought that counts. I appreciate it. AI probing your mind with that shit, brother. Elon told you so. Ooh. I mean, yeah, probe me, baby. Ooh, wait, pause. Whoa, pause. Did I see glimpses of tunnel? Did you see the glimpses of the tunnel? You try to ignore the cop in jail videos to focus on the money. Yeah, but you gotta learn to get loose a little bit, bro. You gotta learn to offload. And for me, offloading is watching other people get into trouble and other people eating shit. Oh, I'm so evil. I'm so evil. Hi, Brad. I read that. Bitcoin juggernaut is just getting started, says TH. TH, I love you. I love the way you think, TH. I can't wait for the Bitcoin juggernaut. People are expecting 200K for Bitcoin. I mean, hey, let's go. 200K by 2025. Let's go. I'm going to love it. All right. Where are we going? Next one after CRM is going to be PagerDuty. This one was a surprise for me, ladies and gentlemen. I was watching the stock around $24 off the open, and I'll tell you, it looked like it was not going to make a single penny of a move to the north side past this area. But boy, oh boy, was I wrong, because this stock absolutely took off, and big volume came in later on in the day, breaking out of that area. Had I had the order just to take the breakout of this level, I would have killed it on this position, but I did not have that breakout because I didn't believe the stock could break out, so I just walked away from it. And there was a point in day where I was looking for that Bella scalp short, right? I was looking for that Bella scalp short, but the stock had very little volume off the open. So because of the lack of volume, I said, you know what, I'm not gonna do too much with this. I'll just walk away from it. But boy, that was a monster breakout. So now the question is, what does the stock do on any sort of a pullback? This breakout actually takes the stock into previous levels that were kind of important and even above those levels. So looks like the stock is getting ready for some real fun moves over here. Whatever that volume catalyst that came in afterwards. These ones should be default. This one should be default. Thank you. Default and default. So whatever that volume catalyst that came in later on in the day, I'm really interested to see if there is any sort of traction on this earnings catalyst. What the fuck move was this? Okay, there we go. We're gonna put that there. Real quick, zoom back out. The last time I traded the stock was on earnings day, so I'm just gonna have to move some of my indicators over real quick. Give me a second for that. Go to the 5-minute chart. Where is this one? I need that indicator. And that one is... Oh, it's not. That's not the one. Maybe it is. Let's see. That's not the one. On your chart, please give me that one. Thank you. It did give me that one. Sweet. Thank you, baby girl. We'll just move these one here for myself for now. But okay, so the idea is now that the stock took out this solid resistance area that we were in, broke out to the north side, and now we're playing with previous earnings highs. This was this earnings move, so previous earnings high are coming into play. How does the stock behave in this range? Does it kind of reject this range off the open somewhere off 27 and then dive right back to the south side, not even showing support in front of 26? If the stock doesn't show support in front of 26, then there's a very big chance that the stock pulls back and find support somewhere in front of 24, 25, 2450 was the level actually. So find support somewhere in front of 2450, somewhere in the middle of these ranges over here is very much likely, especially if we don't hold 26 as a support. But if the stock is holding 26 as a support, then that high of today, which is 2650, will most likely come back into play, and a breakout of 2650 most likely gives you even bigger moves to the north side. The inflection level for me, 25, 95, 26. That 26 area needs to be held. It needs to get held. It needs to find support. Period. Without that, it's just not happening. That's it. So let me put in the notes over here for Pinduoduo. I almost said Pinduoduo. On PagerDuty, big late day move on stock, taking it to solid levels. Can't spell. Watching for maybe day too long or fail to hold support short. So bearish below 26, bullish above 26. 26. There we go. The notes are ready. And for this one, I'm going to be pretty highly watching the stock, probably off the open or even later on in the day, going to shuffle through my watch list to see if the stock is coming into play or not. And if it does, I'll be very interested to trade it. Now, let's go to Mobileye. Mobileye, which what we actually traded today, pretty good trade for us. That $30 level coming into play. I'm not really sure if the stock will be in play tomorrow. It just happened to randomly come into play today. At least no one really knew about the stock even in coming into play until I mentioned it on my trading floor. So I'm not sure if this one will come into play tomorrow, but if it does, that is not today's low. That is not today's low. Why are you lying to me? That's today's low. There we go. There we go. So it would be interesting to see if today's low, somewhere around $30, comes into play and the stock can find buying again into 30. Basically, the Unity trade, what Unity did today. What Unity did today, which was yesterday it consolidated into this range. Today off the open, came down, tested, bounced, found more buying, and then ripped up to the north side. So if Mobileye can do something very similar to that, kind of come down, find support again, rip up to the north side, find support again after ripping up, and continue going up to the north side, I would love to be in that trade for ourselves. So watching Unity for some sort of watching Mobileye for some sort of a trade over here to back to the north side if 30 can hold. Bullish if 30 can hold. Sky Fairy in the chat. Sky saying, morning, waiting for the email. Yeah, I send you the emails every night after the watch list is done anyway, so you'll get it. You'll get it. And for those of you wondering what she's talking about, I send out my watch list that you guys see right here. You guys hear me talking about it. You guys hear me typing it. So basically the watch list is absolutely free. I'm a big advocate on making information, making education, making learning free for people. Big advocate on that. So I'm going to try and keep everything free for you as long as I can possibly do so. But if you guys want to support me, go the extra mile to help out your boy TraderPrad over here by supporting me on Patreon, then I do send out my watch list, a physical copy of the watch list, instead of you guys just hearing me talking about it, instead of you guys just hearing me typing my notes out. You guys get a physical watch list sent to your email every single day, either in the morning or the night before. Okay, Mobileye, very interested to see what this one does at that 30 area. Next stock, Lennar. Not really interested in Lennar. I'm just going to delete that from my watch list. Not even sure why I added it to my watch list. Before we delete it from my watch list, go to the daily chart. I might need to put it back in the watch list. Okay, we're adding it back into the watch list. Ah! All right, all right, all right, all right, all right. Enough groaning. Put it back in the watch list. Okay. Going back in the watch list is Lennar. Obviously, a monster move up today in pre-market itself, and then it basically held this range, this area of interest right into the all-time high zone. So pretty interesting to see what the stock could do going into this all-time high area. Real quick, let's map out what today's high was. What? Yesterday's high. Yesterday's low. And now we're waiting to see how the stock will behave going into the all-time high of 156. Inflection 156. Watching stock into the all-time high area. Bullish if stock can get above and show buying above all-time high. Bearish below. All right, so Lennar, I think this one upgraded itself from first going off the watch list to now being in high important stock. Crazy how things like that can happen, huh? Boeing is the next one on my watch list, but I have no intentions to trade Boeing, mainly because this stock has been such a shit trade for me ever since this news catalyst came out. I absolutely have zero intentions to trade it, and just because I'm saying it with such hatred, I don't even want to look at this stock. I just simply don't. I'm going to move on from it. I'm sorry. I'm sorry if you wanted to take a look at it. I'm sorry if you wanted to trade it. If you want to, go for it. Feel free. Have fun. Make money. And if you lost money, ha, I told you so. Because that stock sucks. It's been such a shit stock to trade for the last few days. Fuck, I hate that stock right now. So let's go to the next stock. Let's go to Unity. This one, boy, did we fumble along on this. This one should have been a big trade along with Microsoft, along with CrowdStrike for us today. But enough bitching. Let's talk about the stock itself. Yesterday was a big sell-off. Today, a complete reversal of said sell-off, and we saw a lot of buying coming into the position all day. So almost like whoever sold yesterday was an absolute moron. Basically, that's what this move tells us. Whoever sold off yesterday was an absolute moron today, and they felt like it. They got told by the market. They feel like a moron also. So now the question is, what does the stock do if we do pull back into these ranges? You want to see buying coming back in. Buying showing up even above this range is even more bullish. So if we start holding somewhere above these ranges, we can get some fun. But right now, it is an absolute inside day. So what happens when two inside days happen with a lot of volume? The stock starts neutralizing and doing nothing in these ranges. So if that's what happens tomorrow, if Unity is just trading in between 30, whatever this low is, 35.50 and 38.50, I'm not really interested to see what the stock does. So stock could easily have a lower volume, lower volatility inside day compared to the last 2 days. So maybe not in play. Only in play if stock is clearly above yesterday's ranges. Above/below. So that's for Unity over here. Big note, but absolutely no levels being written down in my notes right now. Yeah, you know what? I'll just put down these levels. Let's put 39 as a resistance. Let's put 35.50 as a support and see what the stock does between these ranges for ourselves tomorrow. Now, next stock up, we got CrowdStrike. This one, big bullish continuation, continuing to the north side. Yesterday, I think this was day one. This was day two. This is day three, basically. So the question is there a day four for the stock? Who knows? We don't really know the future, but it'll be nice to see what would happen if the stock can continue going to the upside. Is this all-time high coming in? Oh, wow. So all-time high coming into play over here for this bad boy. Let's see how much fun we can have going into those prices. Ah, I fudged up. Fault. Okay. What's that? 298.50? 298.50 CrowdStrike high. 298.50. That's the all-time high, basically, right? That's the all-time high on the stock, and we are only 10-ish dollars away from that area. Yeah, there's a good chance the stock has a day four. There's a great chance the stock has a day four. Pretty high range today. We'll be interested to see what happens if the stock pulls back. Maybe we see somewhere around today's VWAP coming into play, or even the 2-day VWAP, which is exactly right around today's low. So if today's low comes back into play and actually finds support, then ooh, we mama, do we have some fun. 298.50 is the all-time high, but our first support before that, sorry, first resistance before that will basically be today's high around what is it, what's today's high again? 282, 280. Oh, it's that. Okay, never mind. Yeah, 282.04. 282. Let's just say 282 area as the first area is resistance to watch for on CrowdStrike if we open under that price. But looks like the way the stock is trading in the after hours, there's a great chance that the stock could open above 282. So watch out for that one. I'll be pretty interested to see how the stock plays out tomorrow. Very, very much expecting the stock to have some sort of a day four. Stock is getting ready to go tickle the all-time high price. More longs coming, question mark. Bullish above yesterday's high and bearish below that level. Okay, now the next up is Crocs. Crocs, is this still making that move? I mean, it's, I guess, not really doing too much of a move, but it is making a little bit of a move. We still got this range over here to kind of see what happens. Yeah, I'm not really too keen on Crocs at the moment, so we'll just skirt past that. I feel like I have a lot of stocks on my watch list already, and we are not even at some of the other stocks that I might want to be interested in, such as Microsoft, Amazon, AMD, Google. So we'll quickly run through these ones over here, such as UAL. UAL finally breaking out of this range high. We talked about that range yesterday. Looks like more buying coming in onto these at least on one of them, not all of them, because American Airlines actually broke down. No, American Airlines is rejecting that 1465 and pushing down. UAL looks like it wants to continue going up north side. JBlue, which has made a big move down yesterday, basically held into, this is what I expect, one of the stocks. Well, which stock was it? CRM? Was it CRM? No, not CRM. Oh, WDFC. That was WDFC. This is what I expect WDFC to do. See how the stock looks like right now, WDFC, and then let's go to JBlue. Look what JBlue did, right? JBlue pushed down, had a little bit of an inside day, rejected yesterday's close, meaning it didn't go too much under yesterday's close, but it also didn't go all the way back to yesterday's high. Basically stayed in somewhat of a halfway to 1/3 way of yesterday's range. That's what I expect WDFC to do tomorrow, unless there's some real buying coming in because the earnings catalyst was so good. Then WDFC could have that oomph, that juice to break out of yesterday's high. But now coming back to JBlue basically holding into yesterday's low, but the way that the stock is setting up at the moment, looks like it could easily break yesterday's low and go for another ride to the downside. So if you are interested in that short, watch out for that $5 area to break on JBlue. Delta Airlines, are you looking like American or are you looking like United? You're basically somewhere in the middle between both of them. American Airlines obviously selling off, whereas United Airlines is taking off. So Delta somewhere in between both of them, still not at the high of that range, but kind of just hanging out over here, relaxing, chilling, shooting some b-ball outside of the school with a couple of boys. They were up to no good, started making trouble in my neighborhood, and then one little problem, my mom got scared. She said, "Move with your auntie and uncle in Bel Air." All right, I'll stop, even though I sang the whole song basically. Or I'll stop. All right. Now that we speed ran the last few stocks over there, we actually can talk about the fun stocks over here, the fun moves such as QQQ. Boy, oh boy, QQQ's all gas, no brakes, just taking off to the north side. Just continue moving every single day. It starts off looking a little weak, but then boom, comes out buyers. Boom, we still keep on roping up to the north side, and we help other ETFs such as SPY and even IWM, which looked, I'll be honest with you, very weak off the open today. IWM and SPY. Let me show you the 5-minute over here on the SPY. That doesn't look weak at all. Let me zoom in a little bit more. I guess it looks pretty much like QQQs. IWM looked a lot weaker though. Look at IWM over here. All right. Whew. IWM looked a lot weaker. QQQ basically rallying the whole market. The tech sector is stupid strong once again. Saving stocks like Apple, saving stocks like, maybe not saving, but helping stocks like Microsoft, taking out and going closer to that all-time high area. So here's Microsoft, only a few points away from all-time high. We tickled that price today, and boy, could I had that move. I almost had a monster long on Microsoft. I regret it. I regret it so much, fumbling that bag. All right. But the question is, what does the market look like tomorrow? If the market is getting ready for another monster move up north, and looking at stocks like Microsoft going into this all-time high, looking at CrowdStrike pushing into all-time high, looking at Lennar, which is going into all-time high, all of these stocks that have basically had some sort of a volatility, some sort of buying today, are what I'm going to be going for again, right? So stocks like Microsoft, stocks like PagerDuty, stocks like Lennar, not stocks like Mobileye, maybe Unity, right? Maybe even Unity. Any stock that ripped up today and showed a lot of buying, showed a lot of relative strength in it, especially when the market was going down. These stocks didn't really budge too much. I want to keep an eye out on them. Even stocks like Nvidia continuing to make new all-time highs every single day now. So looking at all of these positions, especially if the QQQ wants to go right back into this all-time high area, that we just recently created at 412. SPY is yet to go into all-time high. It's a little bit of a distance away from all-time high, but with this breakout on the 52-week high area, which is basically today's high, the SPY will basically be running into all-time high. And the SPY going into a new all-time high, it's a little bit more significant than the QQQ in my opinion, because SPY is like the everything ETF, right? SPY has tech in it. SPY has oil in it. It has gold. It has everything in it, right? So the SPY is kind of the go-to, the bigger ETF, the more loved ETF for people. Although my ETF is QQQ. I'm the tech guy. I love my technology and my tech companies, so I only watch QQQ mainly, especially when I'm trading Apple, Microsoft, Google. I mainly watch QQQ. But the idea is SPY, which hasn't really been to the all-time high yet, which is very close. If it gets there, it just opens up more bullish sentiment in the market overall. So let's look for that moves on the S&P 500 going into what, 479, 480. Let's say that's actually the high of the S&P 500 here at 480. For QQQ, what is that number over here at 412? Let's say 413 because it's 412. 92, so we'll say 413 on the QQQ. IWM I'll just kind of ignore because IWM is quite a bit of a ways away from all-time high. There we go. Quite a bit of a way from all-time high. IWM first needs to reclaim that 200 area, which it's been struggling. 199, 200 area. It's struggling in front of that area. So if SPY goes up, QQQ goes up, there's a good chance that IWM goes up too. But there's a great chance that IWM struggles at 199 and 200. So watch out for those bad boys over there. Google, I think it was that 140 area that came into play recently on Google. So looking forward to see what levels are now in play for this stock. Let me just quickly move over my indicators over here. So Google, looks like, yeah, still some around this range. Even though we did pop above this range high slightly, I'm still waiting to see what happens around 143, and a move above 143 looks great on Google. On Nvidia, you guys know already that 540, 550 areas coming into play. Netflix 500, I mean, without a doubt, Netflix 500 has to be on watch. It's kind of just doing nothing at the moment. Netflix is just inside daying. The last 3 days in a row were pretty much exact same. So if we do get above these 3 days in a row, Netflix could easily go into 500, especially if the market's taking off. So maybe not a bad idea to watch Netflix, especially if it can get above 487. So 487, and after 487, I'll put 500 on my watch for Netflix. I actually put that in Nvidia, so let me put that in Netflix. 487 slash 47, and after 47, I want 500 to keep a watch on. Tesla is kind of doing nothing at the moment. It's just like lagging. Even though the market's taking off, Tesla is just lagging, is holding off in its own ranges. So I'm not too interested to look for the long on Tesla, nor am I interested to look for the long on Netflix, because Netflix isn't really taking off when the market's taking off, right? So like I said, if the market's going higher tomorrow, I want to look to get long on the stocks that are going higher with them. Meta being one of them, Microsoft being the other, Google being one of them, AMD being the other. So watching these stocks as the market's going up, but if the market's going down, then looking at some of these stocks like Netflix or maybe even Apple, which has been the weaker tech stock compared to any of these other tech stocks. Kind of keeping an eye out on those positions wouldn't hurt either. AMD, I think it was this 140 area, 150 area, sorry. So let me just repaint this line over here into 150, 50. Oh, we did break 150 today. It looks like today's high was 150.88. This range high is actually 151 on AMD. So we'll keep an eye out for that 151 area. MSFT all-time high is exactly what again? 384.30. Today's high was 384.17. So let's just say 384.50 on Microsoft. On Amazon, it was 150 if I remember correctly. We're currently trading around 155, 150-ish or so. What is that price right there? Let me quickly write down this level for myself. That's around, what's the 155.63. Is that all-time high? No, it's not. So this one's not near all-time high. It's near 52-week high. There's a good chance this one breaks out too, but I'm not really that interested to look for a trade on Amazon, because stocks like Microsoft, stocks like AMD look way better to get involved in the long for myself than Amazon does. Here's Apple, a lot weaker than your other than its peers such as Microsoft and Google. So if you want to short a stock when the market's going down, I think Apple will be the one, because it's been a lot weaker, period. Ladies and gentlemen, that is our wonderful watch list for today. Let's go take a look at the economic calendar for tomorrow, see if anything important is on the calendar. Ooh, finally, we got some market moving events coming out. 8:30, we got about 2 or 3 events coming out at 8:30. CPI, we got core CPI, and we got continuing jobless claims and initial jobless claims. So 4 big events coming out at 8:30 tomorrow that could help the market go higher or go lower depending on what direction these numbers come out. Another event coming out at 1 o'clock, it's the 30-year bond auction. Today we had the 10-year bond auction, so tomorrow we'll have the 30-year bond auction. Pretty important of a time period to keep an eye out to see what the market could do off of this number. And the federal budget balance, it says 2-star event. I'm not really sure that's going to be too important, but anything with 3-star, even continuing jobless claims or initial jobless claims, you want to watch out for these 8:30 numbers to come out, because that could make or break your trades tomorrow. As always, make sure you're using risk management in your trades. If you're not, you're going to get blown out, ladies and gentlemen, just simply blown out. Okay, now, talking about playbooking our setups. Before I do that real quick, let me go here, see what's going on with okay. All right. So I'm just checking my messages with my friends over here. So we're gonna playbook the setup, which is called the Bella Scalp. For that, we're gonna open up YouTube. Go watch that video again, but we're not gonna watch the whole video. I'm not gonna make you guys do that. But If you do want to watch that video, make sure you watch the one of me reacting to it, which will be going live tomorrow. How many of you guys actually watch these videos? No one watches these videos, eh? I love it. No one watches these videos. It's fine. It's fine. Where was I going to? I was trying to. What was I trying to do, chat? Oh right, we're trying to go to YouTube. YouTube, SMB Capital, SMB Capital. So it was this trade.
How people do.
We'll mute this. Where is that scalp strategy? Okay. So we'll take a screenshot of this bad boy. What happened? Okay, we'll take a screenshot of this bad boy. We'll get this out of here. Open up my notes platform again. Make that a big page. Put that screenshot in there. What the hell? Okay, there we go. Put that in there. Exit. Go here. Copy that link. Create bookmark. That way, if we anytime want to watch that video on the fly, we have it ready. Now we go into our trade write-ups. Trade write-ups, for those of you wondering, because there was somebody in my Discord chat today saying that I don't talk about my setups enough. Well, I don't want my setups to be known by the whole world to begin with, right? If your setups are known by people, your edge is that much less. And people are going to be front running your setups, but they say I don't talk about my setups enough, or I don't talk about my risk management and my game plan enough. I'm basically showing you exactly how I trade. All you have to do is listen, connect the dots, and understand. If you're not understanding that, then that's not really my job to kind of spoon feed you the information. I'm giving you everything that you need to help create something for yourself. Create a setup, create a playbook, create an idea, create a routine. But that one person, the way they were talking to me on Discord today felt very condescending. It felt like they were calling me out on the lack of playbooks, or on the lack of talking about how to use stops or whatever. It felt pretty weird. But hey, if they were just being genuine and they were being curious as to what my playbooks and what my setups are, I talk about them every day. You see me playbooking them. You see me trade writing them up, right? Like GPS write up. We talked about this write up so many times. We talked about this trade, talked about how we traded it, talked about how we should have traded it, and all that fun stuff. So we're going to do that again right now. We're going to playbook a couple stocks. The first one being SoFi. Tags are going to be, hold up, we're going to do trade write up template. Tags are going to be, what were the tags for some of these stocks? Table, give me table. All entries, anchor VWAP pinch, day 3 continuation. It's not day 3 daily level. It's not even a daily level. So we're just gonna have to give it a completely new name here. So tags are going to be, I'm just gonna call it Bella Scalp. Bella Scalp, right? Simple and easy. Just call it what it is. How do you classify this trade? Simple Bella Scalp. Context. No real news that I found. Just a scalp trade on a stock that was getting hammered down on the open. Okay, daily chart. Is this a daily chart? Not really. This is the 5-minute chart. So for that, we're gonna go over to my charts, which are, close this. I don't need you. Get out of my face. No. Where's my charts, chat? Oh, there they are. Thank you. SoFi daily chart. Kind of just hide all the indicators. Take a picture of the daily chart. intraday chart. For that, we'll use Dieter's chart here instead of Dieter's chart because Dieter got too much shit going on. We'll just go to our chart, go to the 5-minute chart. Here's the intraday chart. Unhide everything, and here's what we want to see. That right there. Right? That's the trend line that we were kind of talking about. Now, where should the entry have been? For this, I'm going to use this software. Open from clipboard, open from image editor, expand that bad boy. So your entry should have been somewhere around here because you want the confirmation of the stock getting above the trend line and also holding above that trend line. For that, it's good to wait for the candle to actually close. So the 5-minute candle closing properly above the trend line is somewhere around here at the high of this candle or at the low of this candle. So your entry should be somewhere around these areas with your stop at the low of this red line over here. And now you can look to take profits. Let me just quickly change colors. You can look to take profits on the first rejection move somewhere down over here. Right, somewhere down over here is where your first few profits could have been taken, and then your second few list of profits somewhere around these ranges, and then your last few profits, if you're still holding any for some reason and going into this late of the day, could have taken out somewhere into these areas. So this is the trade idea, how it should have been traded, at least for that scalp. Your first few lots should have been out here, but because of how monster of a buying that comes in, not a single red bar comes in until it consolidates over here, you end up getting a much better risk to reward trade. So let's say you're long 825. That's the worst price that let's say you get, 825. Your stop is 815, let's say 810, right? So around 10, 15, 20 cents of risk. You're getting way more than that already. Good 2R, 3R trade, and that's exactly where your 2R ends up being actually, all the way back into the high a day, right into the 2-day VWAP coming into play. So beautiful trade over here being offered on the Bella scalp. So let's just quickly, how I traded it. I don't really trade it. So we can move that one out. How others traded it, no one I know really traded it. How I should have traded it. So for that, we got this bad boy, so we can delete that. Level 2 box, we weren't watching the level 2, so we don't really know what that looks like. And the intraday chart for that, I'm just going to go back over here, delete this bad boy, and I'm going to bring in about 5 days worth of stuff in here into this, so I can see that right there, the intraday chart, copy that, post it in here for myself, and now we basically have this trade cataloged. What this does is, if we ever see this setup again and we kind of get doubts, right? We get a doubt as to how to properly trade this stock. We get doubts on how to properly execute this position or execute this entry, where to take profits and so on. We can now simply open up our trade write-ups, go check out the Bella scalp one. We just click the tag Bella scalp. Instantly we'll see all the stocks tagged, or all the trade books, all the playbooked trades tagged Bella scalp, and then we just go ahead and find that bad boy, quickly read about it, understand where the entry should have been, understand where the exits should have been, and then we just rinse and repeat. Monkey see, monkey do. It's that easy. This helps us also establish the trade idea into our head kind of in a more permanent way. Not only are we doing it on one stock, we're now going to do it on 2 more stocks. So let's go on over here and do it to the other one. So SoFi is done. Let's do it for UPST, which was a little bit of a better trade, honestly. UPST, tags, Bella, scalp, trade right template, right? UPST chart. Let's go grab that one. Copy image. Level 2 box, didn't really do that. How I traded, didn't really do that. How others traded, didn't really do that one. Daily chart, intraday chart. Okay, that's the intraday chart. Let's go to the daily chart and hide all the indicators. Copy image. classic Bella scalp found by Dieter. I'm going to remove the context because I don't really need the context. It's just a simple scalp trade idea. How I should have traded it. Now we get to make the fun stuff. Now we get to make the notes. Oops. What the hell? Oh, okay, let's put it this way over here instead. There we go. Now we get to write the fun stuff on the stock. So let's take a quick little picture of it. Copy image. Open it in the editor. And draw in our first entry where it should have been somewhere in this area. Somewhere in this area entry. Stop at the low of these two candles. And our profit targets coming in on the first little exhaustion over here in this area. And then somewhere around this area, you're probably done, especially when the stock gets back under or fails to hold around today's VWAP. So today's VWAP is right around this orange line, which gets covered by the orange line. It's actually the red line, but the red line gets covered by the orange line. So just think about the orange line being today's VWAP. Somewhere around here would have been your first exit, and then your last exit's right around over here. Maybe you try to hold it for a bigger trade, but once the stock fails to hold today's VWAP, that kind of breaks the whole bigger bullish thesis for me, because if the stock cannot respect today's premium price, there's no chance that there's going to be more buying coming in. Usually, no chance. Usually there's not a chance that the stock will have more buying coming in. So that's the idea over there. How I should have traded it. How can I find more of these stock scans? I'm just not going to put these two notes over here, I'll be honest with you, because I already know the answer to that. I just need to make a scanner. I just simply need to make a scanner for them. I think I know exactly what type of scanner I need to set up for these. So right now, I just want to playbook these trades, just want to catalog them, where I should have gone long, where I should have gone short, and just keep that simple in myself. There's a trade today that one of my close friends on the trading floor from the old trading floor did, and I was kind of giving him an advice to look at this video to get an idea for himself for a better entry, because he screwed up on a long on Shopify today. He tried a long over here, missed. He tried another long right away, that failed, and then later on he got long, which happened to be the right trade. So I noticed the same thing kind of taking place, and I told him, hey, go watch this video, and if he took that long right around over here instead of fighting this trend to the downside, it would have been much better for him. But this trade doesn't actually look as good compared to some of the stocks that Dieter found. So we're gonna go back to the Dieter charts over here and go to the next one, which is AI, C3 AI. Dieter, you were on fire with these stocks. What I noticed, Dieter, it has to be at least 5 consecutive red down bars on the 5-minute chart. At least 5. If it's not, 5 consecutive red bars, there's a good chance it kind of chops around. For example, Shopify, look at that. 1, 2, 3, little bit of a chop, little bit of chop, and the trend line is a lot weaker in my opinion. Right, the trend line's a lot weaker, so not really sure how to read that. But when you see a solid down move coming in, Mobileye was on the opposite side. It's not 5, it was more than 5 trade down bars. But the idea is, what I'm noticing is, look at this. First the pop, then a little bit of a sell-off, and then you're looking for that bigger move up north. I kind of like it. I also want to include a better plan as to what exactly makes these stocks break out, or sorry, not break out, like form that trend line, and then how to catch the ones that actually do it and ones that don't do it. Off of a quick glance observation on day 1 today, it looks like only stocks that do form that trend line before 10:30 are usually the ones. If any stock is not breaking this trend line before 10:30, usually the chances it just continues trending all the way in that direction to the downside, or all the way in that direction to the upside, showing you that there's a lot more weakness. So by 10:30, by the first half hour or the first 1 hour of the market open, it's got to have that correction move. It's gotta have that hedge funds kicking in and taking the stock to the right direction move coming in. If it doesn't, then the stock is already in the right direction and it's going to continue in that direction. And for example, we saw that take place on Unity, right? Unity, monster move to the upside, monster move to the upside. I had drawn that trend line at one point today, and that trend line completely beat me up right over here, because once again, it was just way too strong to the upside. Even if you put the trend line over here and got short over here, it just didn't work for you, right? So it was insanity of a strength on the stock today on Unity. Obviously you gotta know that trend lines are very subjective, not objective. So that's a big part in the setup over here. They call it the Bella scalp. It's all great, but we need to be better with the nuances as to what stock can actually create that line and break out, and some stocks that create that line and don't break out and continue going into that direction. So need to categorize that. Bella scalp context. I'm just gonna delete you. Daily chart, delete you. Intraday chart, delete you. Delete all of you too. We're gonna delete you. And we'll delete all of you too. And back. Okay, AI 5-minute chart for 5 days. Take a screenshot of this bad boy. Copy image. Post it in the intraday. Then we go to the daily chart. Hide all our indicators and all the jibber jabber. Take a screenshot. And how I should have traded it. We go back to the 5-minute. Unhide all that fun stuff. Throw in the trend line. Throw in the trend line over there. Take a quick little screenshot of this bad boy. Open up in the editor. Start throwing our lines. You know I like lines. All right, so somewhere around here would be our first long. Our stop would be somewhere at the bottom of these two candles, and our profit targets should be at the first sign of weakness over here, and then the second sign of weakness somewhere around here, or even somewhere around here after the stock kind of pushes up, fails, pushes back down. So somewhere around these two areas will be our last few exits on AI to the scalp side up, baby. What a beautiful trade. I mean, we found 3 today that worked wonderfully. Why do I keep saying we? It was all Dieter. Dieter found 3 today that found beautiful trades. Hey, Dieter, I see you in the chat. You're saying what? You're saying, sadly could not take all trades, not enough cash. Ah, I feel you on that. I feed that. Think with Bookmap is here in my chat. What? What's up, Bookmap? How you doing? Hey, if you want to sponsor me, give me an account to use because I love your software. I just don't want to pay for it. But if you want to sponsor me, help me out. I'll love it. But yeah, Bookmap. Hey guys, if you haven't checked out Bookmap, this is a free advertisement for Bookmap at the moment. If you want to check out Bookmap, it's actually really good software. Really good software. Tells you exactly where the buyers are. Tells you exactly where the sellers are. Let me actually show you what it looks like. It looks a lot like this. It looks a lot like this. This one is actually the heat map for Bitcoin, but Bookmap looks pretty much like this. The darker the level, the bigger the size, and you also actually get to see a visual representation of the time of sales, meaning where people are buying and selling the stock that you're interested in. You'll see a nice little circle show up on the map at the stock, on the chart, sorry, with and the bigger the circle, the bigger the size that was traded. So you get to see if a big buyer was in play or a big seller was in play. You get to see people spoofing orders when they throw an order, but they remove the order when the stock goes into that level. You get to see icebergs. That's a little bit more complicated. I know Bookmap calculates icebergs also. So lots of fun stuff over there. Bookmap is pretty cool. I do use their channel quite a bit. Thank you for coming by to the channel, Bookmap, and hitting with the subscribe means a lot to me. But yeah, Dieter, bro, you are killing it with these trades, man. Thank you for calling them out, because had you not called these trades out today, I would have probably not caught that Mobileye long. I'll be honest with you, probably not caught that Mobileye long. With your help, I made some cheese, baby. That sweet cheddar cheese. So thank you for that one. What was the last stock that you called out, Dieter? It was AI, and then oh, Unity. Okay, yeah, we'll just ignore Unity, even though I need to kind of playbook this as to why it didn't work, maybe. But I kind of need to see more examples as to why these work and why they don't work. And the only way I will get to that point is to every day looking for these opportunities, every day playbooking these opportunities, playbook the ones that we caught, playbook the ones that we missed, and what is this? I playbooked it, but I don't know what the setup was. Yeah, I playbooked it, but I just didn't know what the setup should be called. Anyways, playbooking these trades, the stocks that you got, that you traded, that you missed, the ones that you failed, all that should basically be written up, playbooked, and studied so you can better understand. Here are just some of the ideas of what my playbooks look like. My number one playbook right here, baby. Anchor VWAP Chapter 8. For those of you interested. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, January 11th watch list is prepared. If you are interested on that watch list, you can subscribe to it on Patreon, but you can also just tune into the stream every single day and get it for free. Absolutely free. But if you want to support me on Patreon, you do get my watch list sent to your email every single night or early in the morning, either or. Thank you for everybody who stuck around. Thank you for everyone who hit that like, subscribe, and all that fun stuff. I gotta go take care of some stuff in my room, clean up my room a little bit, and then I'm probably just gonna go hit the bed. I want to play some Tarkov. Maybe I'll play some Tarkov. Then I'll go do the dishes. Then I'll go clean up my room, and then I'll go hit the bed. So that means I need to leave right now. Otherwise, I'm not going to get any time to do any of that. It's late. I know you guys are tired. Go get some sleep. I'll see you tomorrow for the last stream of the week. Thank you for today's sponsors, Trade Ideas, TraderSync, and Benzinga. If you want to use any of the softwares that I just mentioned, those are the 3 softwares that I use for trading every single day. If you want to use any of these softwares, all of the links to them are down below, along with all my other social media links. Go check out my link tree, Discord, Instagram, Twitter, all that fun stuff. Thank you for coming. Tomorrow, 8 o'clock, same time, same place for the last stream of the week. Good night. Ciao. Oh, and Bitcoin to the moon, Doge to the moon. Wait, what the hell? I forgot the wrong button, chat. Good night.